So resampled the this line overall, which gives me my curve view, and then I'm using my curve view for my P scale, and then I'm perturbing that P scale with a noise, and yeah, and then I'm building this kind of rotation. So what I'm doing is I'm using that P scale to say that, so I have this rotation, so I'm taking my curve view, I have this ramp, and then I'm running that ramp through a fit. So here is my destination min, destination max, and that is, so I made those into parameters. So basically at the bottom, I'm gonna have one rotation, and at the top, I'm gonna have one rotation. That is going to be rotated about this matrix. So I have this matrix, and I'm going to say rotate that around, and by default it's the z-axis, so it's pointing out this way. So basically what I'm saying is if I have a line that's like this, I will have an axis like this, and I can rotate that axis around like that, and it will give me, the result would be something like this. Something like that. So like this line would rotate up like that. Oh, great. So I'm just going over how I built the feather, and then I'll go over this again because I'm going to rebuild. I'm going to optimize it as well. Thank you for flagging the sound issue. I don't know what that was. All right, cool. So that's how that works. So basically I have a rotation that's at the bottom, and I have a rotation at the top. So this one may rotate like this, and this one may rotate like this, and they'll slowly move from this rotation to that rotation. Like that. Okay, so let's go back. So I'll go up. Maybe not that far. So if I view my orient, so you can already see that already looks kind of like my feather, like if we're looking at here. So one thing I'm noticing is, and this is why I usually do these reviews, is my rotation is starting from down here, like my subdermal spine. So I don't think I want that. I think I just want to come out of my top line here. So I think there might have been a reason why I did that. But, you know, sometimes I'm talking at the same time I'm doing this stuff, and, you know, sometimes you do things which seem logical at the time and are not. So let's see if I plug this into here. Yeah, that makes more sense, because I'm only working on that top spine, right? So if I look at this rotation, so now I can have a start rotation, which is here, so that's about 20 degrees, and then I have an end rotation, which is 50 degrees. So I can change these overall. So if I take this guy, I can bring this down. The closer I get to 0, the flatter that's going to get, like that. So I had that at about 20 degrees, and then 50 degrees here, right? If I bring that down, that changes that, and you can see they interpolate between. So this is 20 degrees and this is 50 degrees. So now they're about the same. So if I start to bring this up, you can see that they slowly change like that. So let's put that back to 50 because I like that look. Okay, so that's how those spines are done. And then what I'll do, so this is my X direction. So on my line here, my line is faced out my X direction like so. I do a resample on it. And then for this guy, the spine wave, once again, I'm using that curve view. That curve view is so powerful. That 0 to 1, progression is really powerful. So so here, this is my spine wave, if I look here, and all I'm doing is lifting these parts up in Y. So here, I'm just taking, same thing, curve U, taking a ramp, taking a fit, and then running that through, I'm taking my P value, and I'm replacing that Y component with this fit, and then that's going out to P. So I can control that Y value along the edge there, like how much that's pushed up. Okay, so then I just take this guy and copy it onto that guy, and I get that. Right, and so this waviness is coming from this noise attribute. Okay, so I basically did that just over here. I just made those negatives, and I basically get the same thing. So negative with like different P scale here. Write this out value. So let's do 0.5, just to round that out. It's gonna basically, this is gonna be like the overall kind of size of the feather. So I have my screen right, screen left, and then I sweep both of these to give it some thickness. So this radius here and this radius here. Right, and then I merge everything together. Give me the whole feather. So that's how I made the whole feather. Now, so what I want to change on this is the following. For my top, for this guy here. So I want to be able to, if I stretch this thing out, so if I go down here to the bottom, right, and I start to stretch that out, I'm going to get gaps in my feather. So if I take this guy and I take its length and I start to bring it up, I'm going to get gaps. So what I want is, I think I want, so that's actually pretty, like peacock feather or something like that. So what I want is, I want this to adjust automatically. That's basically what I want. So I think instead of putting my bend here, and I'm also like building this resample way too many times. So I'm doing this, everything, I'm doing this here and here. Yeah, so this guy, this resample can probably be pushed up into here as well. So I don't need to do those. And I can probably kill two birds with one stone with this resample. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and I'm just going to do 2 points. So this first part is only going to be determining the length of the overall feather. And then what I'll do is I'll put a resample here. And with my, I can say the length, I can tell it, I was like, okay, I want the length of each one of these segments to be. So I can say 0.01. Okay, so what that allows me to do, and I can go ahead and build my, let's see, I have this distance attribute. Creates a point attribute storing the length of the output curve that is closest to each point along the curve. This is half the sum of the length of all the edges connected to each output point. When creating only points, this value can be used to determine how much of the original curve each point represents. Okay, all right, well, we'll just turn that on and see what it is. So I'm going to do distance attribute, so PT distance. I'm going to also do curve view. So I know that my maximum segment length is 0.01. right? So this length from here to here should be 0.01. So this distance should be 0.01. Okay, so if I know that distance, so 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, if I know that distance should be each one. So the radius, like, so this, say we're looking at this thing on the side, my radius for each one of these guys, if I did something like this is a terrible drawing, right? The distance from here to here, so this radius here should be 0.01 times 0.5, right? So no matter how long I make this thing, all these points will be 0.01 apart. So I can scale my spines based on this value. Now, let's look at the other thing I want to look at is what that PT dis is doing. I've never really used that attribute before, and I've never really seen anybody use it before, but I'm sure it's useful at some point. Maybe not in this case, but let's investigate it. Split panel top bottom. Let's do spreadsheet. So dists. So they're all about 0.01. Okay. Yeah, so that's really, really close, except for this first one. This is 0.049. Not really sure why that one is so small. But these are all really close to 0.01. Like this is 0.099, which is basically 0.01. So let's do a little test. I want to do a little test. So I'm going to take and create, I'm just going to make a tube. So let's do this. PT dist, and yeah, I'm going to do a little science experiment here. This is what I love about Houdini, and I've said it once, I'll probably say it again, is that you can do like these little science experiments, and I'm not breaking anything down here. Like all this stuff is completely not connected. So I'm going to take and make a tube. And I'm going to have this tube, I'm going to point it down the x-axis. Okay. And I'm going to take that tube, and let's say it's radius scale, let's say 0.01. All right. And I'm going to take that tube, and I'm going to copy it to these points. So now these are overlapping here. So if I look at, let's template this, view that. So they're sitting in the center. So I think what I might need is to do 0.01, 0.05. Yeah, so those should sit real pretty like that. So what I can do now is I can actually drive. I don't think I have to do anything special with this PT dist. If my PT dist was varying, I don't think I would need to do that. I don't think I would need to change anything. But yeah, it's not. My PT distance isn't varying. I want all these spines to be almost exactly the same size. So what I can do, oh no, because I wouldn't want to do that. I would want to do this on. Oh no, I can still directly link this, because that would be this value. So my radius would be directly linked to that. So what I can do is I can say here, like, copy parameter, and then radius scale, say paste relative reference, and I just want to multiply that by 0.5 times 0.5. So now, as my line gets longer, right, I always have the correct number and size of spines that pop out the side. This is amazing. Like, being able to do this type of like kind of like detailed work like this, it just kind of like adjusts and like fills in gaps on its own, is really, really powerful to me. Like that's one of the most powerful things that you can do in this software. Okay, so now that I have it, now I know that works. That's fine. Okay, so I have this, and then let's see if I put my bend in here, that should still work. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Okay, so small change, but should help me a lot when I'm building these guys, so I won't have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on that. So if I come down to here to this sweep, let's untemplate. So I have not implemented that yet, so I'm gonna actually just copy this expression, come down here to my sweep. Now I think I can, yeah, I can disable these guys now. Actually, I don't need these anymore, but I'm just going to disable them just in case. I might need them later. And then, yeah, so I can take that. I should be able to put that into my radius. Control V. There we go. So now my spines should, yeah, these guys should automatically scale to be the correct size. So I might have to move this around a little bit, just so that these fit together a little bit better. Yeah, so if I want more spines, right, I can just start to drop this number. So now I'm about to where I was before, but now my length and my spine count is independent of that. So that's working very, very well. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to do this. So yeah, so I don't need these anymore. Okay, just and then what I could do is, instead of having two sweeps, I might just be able to merge these guys together and then sweep those. Yeah, I like that. That's working well. That's working well. So I don't need this other sweep. So just optimizing, always optimizing. And then this one doesn't really matter because it's that center bit. Yeah, there we go. So I can get rid of my little lab experiment here, and I tend to I like to color the nodes that I'm going to have. And so basically these guys are all going to get a color, say turquoise, because these are all going to end up being controller structures for the HDA. Awesome. Cool. So let's see if I can actually, because I want this to be visually sound. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip these, and I'm gonna put this guy over here and this guy over here, because looking at this visually from the front, this side is controlling this side, and this side is controlling that side. So it's not ambiguous to the user, or it's less ambiguous to the user what is doing what. Okay, so I think I'm about ready to turn this into an HDA. So this, let's see, would I want, I wonder if I would want to be able to give this a custom spine, top spine. Let's see, let me see something. Let's gonna go to my, let's see, front view. I'm just gonna do a quick draw curve. I may be overkilling this, but we'll see. So, I'm just gonna draw a curve. Okay, so if I take that curve, and I think if I feed it into here, let's see what happens. Oh wow, look at that. So I could give this a custom curve. Now, that's not really doing what I want to do, but that's the power of Houdini, right? Like I can give this a custom spine and it'll pseudo follow it. But I want this to be a little bit more controlled. That's a nice little experiment that we did, and we'll deal with that. Okay, so I have my feather. So my feather is just going to be like what I like to call kind of like a generator node. Like it doesn't take anything at the top; it just makes stuff. So I don't really need any inputs. And then my outputs are going to be this out feather. Now, to make my HDA, my Houdini digital asset, I like to make like a controller object, and then that just gets spat out to the HDA. Get some tea real quick. The other thing that I might want to consider for this is building color along different parts. So that's actually really easy to do. All I need to do is, after this resample here, like this curve view, I can just put a color node under this. Like I said, color. And yeah, we're going to make that point, and then we're going to do ramp from attribute. So view this guy. And then my attribute is going to be curve view. So now I can have a root to tip on my center spine here. And I can do the same thing for each one of these. That would be, go, color. That, and then if I copy down points, yeah, I should get a root to tip color on each one of these. So now I can change the color of my curve based on this ramp. So if I wanted to make like something like, I don't know, you could do like, this goes back to black. So if I want to do something striped, so let's say this is like, make this like a dark gray. This is a dark gray. And this a red. So I can do something like that. So I can color my feather based on that data. So I can move this around. So really, really powerful stuff. So basically those, these groups here are being picked up by whatever. So do I want to do that right now? I can always edit the HDA later. Just want to get the structure down first. Okay, so I want to make a controller, so I'm going to drop down a null here. And I usually make my controller objects, I usually make them round. Just because I've been watching a lot of the Kineffect stuff, and that's what they do. So we'll call this feather control. And so I'm just going to start populating this with attributes, or not attributes, parameters that will allow me to control my feather. So the first one is here. So this is going to be feather length. So I'm going to come into here. And actually, I'm going to do this split tactic. So I'm going to say split left, right. Grab this guy. I'm going to pin that down. So this guy is always here. So here I'm going to say edit parameter interface. Okay, and so I'm going to start to build this up. So let's say, so I need a float. Actually, let's split this up into different groups. So let's say we'll make a folder. This is going to be called spine. And we'll make another folder called left. And another folder called right. Let's say apply. So I have my spine, my left, and my right data. So on my spine, the things that I want to control are my length and my segment length and my bend. So float, call this length. And I want another float, call this segment length. Bend. actually this, I'm going to do top length. Top length, segment length, because I have to remember I'm working with top and bottom, so top segment length. I'm gonna keep my camel casing the same. So I have top length, top segment length. Bend only happens on the top, that's fine. And then we will do bottom length. It's the same thing, so another float. And integer, do bottom segments. Should do it. So I'm going to say apply. So that'll give me all those guys. And so now I can just start to drive these things. So my top length, I'm going to say, just say 1 for now. And I'll just drag this over to here. Relative channel reference. So that's controlling that. Top length, top segment length is going to be here. So that is 0.005. Cool. Bend is -9 degrees. So now I can control my bend. So I'll have to go in and change these values, but that's working. So okay, and then over here, my bottom length. So let's just round that out to 0.06. So 0.6. And then I think I resampled it way down here. Oh, no. There are my segments. So bottom segments is 5. So that is going to go to there. Okay, so that's that. So what I can do now, so now from here, I can control my top length. From this one spot, I can control the top of my feather. Hi there, how's it going? I have no idea what your name is because I can't read Korean, but welcome to the stream. So I can control my top length. I can control my segments, how many segments I have. So I can start to bring those down or up. So the less segments I have, the more fine my little spines are going to be. So there. And then I have my bottom length, which I can mess with like that, and my bottom segments if I want more segments. Okay, cool. So I think that's it. I think that's it for the top. So we're gonna do our left, which is gonna be this guy. So what do I need here? What can I control? And I'm just gonna show just this one so I don't get distracted by anything else. So I think I'm going to leave this guy at, let's see, do I want to leave this at 1? I want this to be rather easily controllable. So I'm going to take my input spine I'm going to leave at 1, right? Because everything else over here is going to act as a multiplier for that. And I think I'm okay with that. So here, I think my noise is really severe. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. 0.09. Right. So this line is always, I'm going to leave it always at 1. Because everything over here is going to become a multiplier for that. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. I'm going to have to call and yell at somebody again. Yeah, I'm only at 2,000. Jesus. Let me real quick. Let me pause real quick. I basically need to send all this information to my internet service provider because they're garbage. Yeah, I even have my computer directly hooked up to my modem, and it's still super low. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable, especially for a place like Hong Kong that's supposed to be Asia's world city. Ugh, so annoying. Anyway, soldier on. Soldier on. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. Let's take our element size. I want my element size to be still pretty small because this is kind of wavy. I want it to be more jaggedy. So let's go 0.1 maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's too jaggedy. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Yeah, so about the same idea. Okay, so yeah, line's gonna be at 1, and resample just builds my curve view and gives me my number of segments. Do I want to control that? I guess I could control my number of segments. So okay, so I have my wave. I have my max scale, max P scale, amplitude, element size, rotation ramp, start rotation, end rotation. Okay, so that should be the things that I need to edit or add onto my left hand side. And I'm just going to copy this over to the right hand side. All right. Edit parameter interface. So what did I say? So on my left, I say send spines segments. So that's going to be an integer. So let's say L segments. So that's going to be my segments. here I'll have a ramp that controls the wave, and then I'll have my minimum Y and maximum Y. So I'm going to do a ramp parameter. Ramp float. Okay, so we'll call this spine shape. L spline shape. Left spine shape. And then we'll have another float. Call this min lift. L min lift. Left, and lift, and Control C, Control V. So be L max lift. Left, max, lift. Okay, so I'm going to say apply. I'll just move this over to my other screen, and I've been doing a lot of work, so I should save this. So I'm going to say edit. I'm going to take this ramp, and I'm going to say copy parameter, and I'm going to come over here, I'm going to say paste values. So it just gives me that exact same ramp over here. 0.09. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this guy over here. Should be able to drag that over there. Definitely drag these over here. And copy parameter. This guy. Paste relative reference. Yeah, so all that gets hooked up. Apparently the drag and drop doesn't work with this. So now, over here on my controller, I can control all that stuff. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Okay, so that's that side. Now for this side here, so I want a, let's see, this is going to be max scale, and then profile shape. That's what I'm going to call it. So back over here, I'm going to say, and do I want to put a group in this? I think I'm going to put a group in this. So left, spine, and so I'm going to do a folder. I'm going to subgroup this. So this is going to be spine. Let's see, what are they actually called? Not spine. Quill. Let's see if I can, let's do tabs. Yeah, I think I like that better. So, so I have shape, noise, quill. I don't like them, I think I want them as tabs. So I have my shape tab, my noise tab, and my quill tab. Cool, so now I can control my entire left side from this one controller. So I can, you know, pull that in or out if I need to. I can pull this in or out if I need to. So yeah, that's working hunky-dory. So now I just have to do this for the next side, the right side. Spine, left. This should be right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all this stuff, and I wonder if I can alt and drag this. Nope, cannot. So I'm going to do, select all this. Actually, I'm going to save this first before I break something. I'm going to select all these parts, Control C, Control C, Control V. Yeah, there we go. And so what I'll do is I will just change my L's to R's. R, right, R. Things that a computer artist can cultivate is the ability to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I didn't believe him now, and then, and I definitely believe him now. So the ability to kind of maintain focus and do the same thing over and over again is really, really powerful as a computer graphics artist. Okay, so now so that's cool. So I have my shape, my noise, and my quill. So now I can just go through and start to build that out. So so I think I started over here with my quill. Actually, I went kind of backwards. Okay, so let's do the same thing as I did on the other side. Is I'll just edit this and then hook it up to my little controller here. So remember, I wanted my line to be 1, which makes it really, really big. And 10, 10. This one became 0.09, and this is 0.09 as well. 0.09. Right. And now this guy was, let's see, 0.04. 0.05 maybe. 0.9. 0.09. Yeah, I think I like that. And then my attribute noise, my amplitude has come way down. Element size and amplitude, so 0.05 and 0.025. And then my rotation pretty much stays the same. Okay, cool. All right, so the line, let's see, the quill, shape. Why does that still say left? I want to be on the right. Oh, there we go. So copy parameter, paste value, and 0.09. Copy parameter, paste relative reference, and then these guys I can just drag over. All right, nothing changed there. Resample, I don't think it does anything unless I want to do, oh yeah, segments. Segments. Segments, so that's the quill. Then we'll work our way backwards. Noise, pretty straightforward. Amplitude, element size. Amplitude, element size goes there, and then working backwards to our shape. And our shape is going to be here. So shape, copy parameter, paste value, copy parameter, and then paste that back. And then my scale here, 0.09. It goes over there. So you could call this, like, if you were coming from a not computer graphics, but a computer science standpoint, you could call this like refactoring, right? I'm not really changing what the output is. I'm just changing how it works. And sometimes this can be harder than actually building the thing, like, because sometimes you can break stuff and not even know it. Okay, so let's see, what else is there? So I come over to my little controller here. So I have my spine. That's fine. Segments, left. Control my left-hand side. Right, I can control the right-hand side. Okay, cool. I think the last thing I need is on my left-hand side and my right-hand side, I need rotation. So I'm going to put that under shape. So I'm going to put that under shape, and that's going to be a float. This is going to be L. Start rotation. I'll just do so. I'll start wrong. Left, start, rotation. And this will be end rotation. Looking at this, these should be right. Right. Cool, and that's going to be down here. So on my left here, let's see, this is negative 60 and negative 50, negative 60, negative 50. Same thing over here. So go to my right hand side. It's rotation. So this is 20 and 50 and 50. Cool. So that's 20 and 50, and then I have this ramp as well. I don't really, I'm not really messing with the ramp too much. Might give me some control overall. Yeah, I'll throw that in there as well. Might as well if I'm in here. So these might actually go under. No, these should still be under shape. So I'm gonna do another ramp. L rocks, ramp, left, rotation, ramp. R ramp, right rotation ramp. Okay, there's my right rotation ramp, so that is going to go here. No, this is my left-hand side. Left rotation ramp. Copy parameter. Paste relative reference, and then here, so my right rotation ramp over here. Copy parameter. Paste relative reference. Cool, so that should pretty much give me full control over the, so I have my, yeah, so length, segment length, bend, bottom length, bottom segments, left, so I have my shape overall, my scale, my rotation here, so top rotation, bottom rotation. I can collapse these if I want them to be a little bigger. Shape, noise, quill. And the same thing for the right. So cool. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to put this right before my out feather. It doesn't really matter where I put it, but I usually put my controller right before my output. Yeah, so I can start to make this really, really high detail. Like, look at that detail. That's crazy. So thin. Oh, the other thing I need to do is my spine width. The width overall for this guy. I'm forgetting stuff. So, spine. Top length bend. Bottom segments, and then we'll do another float. Do width, spine, width. Copy parameter. Paste relative reference. And so there's our feather overall. So I don't think I want my feathers to be this detailed. It's a little overkill, I think, right now. So maybe not 0.01, so maybe 0.02. Maybe. Yeah, 0.02 feels good. Feels like a good compromise to that. And let's see. So I'll fix those maximum and minimums later. So yeah, so that's our feather. So the reason I did all of this, let's save this. The reason I did all this is so I can turn this into an HDA very easily. I kind of like to do my legwork up front for my HDA. Because basically the entire system is controlled by this controller. This controller will just get dragged over into my HDA. So let's do that. I'm just gonna grab all of this. So this part always makes me nervous. I'm gonna collapse this down into a subnet. I'll call this feather. I'll call it BB feather. And grab this. Oops. Grab this, right click, and say create digital assets. Operator name, I'm just going to leave that as BB Feather. And operator label, I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to make the name and the label the same. And this is going to go into my documents, Houdini 8.5, OTL, BB Feather, HDA, non-commercial. Cool. So that made a feather. That made my feather. And so now I can go over to my, let's see, parameters. And I can say from nodes. And now I can just go grab just that feather con. Just drag the whole thing over. Blam. Say apply. Where did my quills go? That's good. Something. So this is the part that always gets me, which is why I save beforehand. Let's see what happened. Why are my quills so small? Very short. That's one. That's one. Max is 0.04. Nine. Let's see. Segments on my quill, 10 segments here. That's fine. Huh, that's weird. Anyway, so there's my right, and my left looks like my shape needs to come up a fair bit. Three. Cool. And then, if this is too noisy, I can take my amplitude and say maybe 0.001 on either side. A little bit too little. So now it's art direction time, which is great. I can do this till the cows come home. It's mine. So I can control my bins, and I can control these ins and outs as well. But for now, I'm going to leave this as it is. So I'm going to say match current definition, and so that will lock that down. So now I can make as many of these feathers as I so choose, which is fantastic. So now, so I can start to match my my input feathers. So this is one. So now I can come in here, I can grab this guy, and I can start to match my input feathers. So these are the proxy feathers that I made before. So my segment length, I can bring that down. My bend is probably a little bit too much. Like that. And so now I can build my left side and my right side. So on my left side here, shape. And the left side's going to come out to about there. these probably need to come down. Okay, I'm digging that for the left side. And then for the right side, that one's a bit bigger. Actually, that works pretty well for the right side. Let me bring these guys in a little bit. And maybe make it a little bit longer. Yeah, so I'm basically trying to keep the same like overall kind of look as my main feather. Okay, so that's one. So that's one feather. So I'm gonna duplicate this. So this is why we go through all that work, because I can just make as many feathers as I want. Okay, so this one is one of the little short ones. I mean, I could even go in and just drop a transform behind this and just scale this down if I wanted to. That might actually work better. Yeah, I might actually just do that. So I'll keep the overall shape, scale the whole thing down. But in my feather here, I can still control my left and my right. So I can say, all right, this needs to come up a bit. This needs to come up a bit. This should be a little bit thicker that way. My right should be a little bit thicker this way. Okay, so there's that one. There's that guy. And then I have like this really small one here. So I'm just gonna copy this whole thing again. And let's go with this. So make this even smaller. And also, with this being so small, I might need to edit the rotation. So let's go down here. Maybe my end rotation. Just like that. And my start rotation. Just gonna go like that. That, and then there's my, so I'm gonna do my right side. It's real big, and this is a pretty simple shape. tiny, teeny, teeny, tiny feathers. So now I have my 3 types of feathers overall. And the cool thing is, if I need to edit this, so if I need to go in and start to make, so I don't think I'm going to put the color in here. So I think this is just going to be for building. But what I do want to do eventually is I do want to go in and make attributes that, like, so basically I want an attribute that's the spine ramp. I want an attribute that is the length, an attribute that's like the length of each one of the spines overall. And all those are going to go from 0 to 1. So I can take those and I can combine them and turn them and use them to do my overall color, possibly my like other things like roughness and metalness and all that stuff. I might give each one of these a random value so that I can shift the value around. I mean, the sky's the limit at this point. So, so the main thing I want to do is so let's do. I want to test and see what this looks like overall. So I'm going to do a null. I'm going to do out main secondary, and I think these are called coverts or covets, so I'll just say out COV. Okay, so now so I have my 3 types of feathers here. So now I can start to, and already you can see that because I was playing around with that, I'm getting that. So I can do feathers. No, not feathers. I'm going to go back to my wing. And over here, I'm plugging this in. So I'm going to say out main. Is that my main? Yeah, it is. Let's drop that left side a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. So there's my out main, and then over here, I'm just gonna copy this. So this is my secondary. So it's gonna get cut. So my secondaries. And I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right one, so that's out secondary. So that's my little secondary feathers. And then, like down here, that's my out coverts. So copy this, Control X, all the way down here, Control V, and out cove. So this is going to be the big one. Oh, she's chewing on that cud. Cool. So I'll just wait for this to kind of come to. If it crashes, hopefully I'll get a crash file. I probably should have saved it. I knew this was going to do this. So yeah, let's see where we're at It's feeling good. Feeling good as it is. So for this, because this is so... This is ridiculous. Now that is truly amazing. Look at that. So each individual feather has all those spines. Now, like I said, I'm not going to actually use this, but it is pretty cool that I can preview this in all its glory. See if I can get all these rendering on screen at the same time. Still chugging. Still chugging. So it looks like my bit rate is back up to being pseudo-normal, which is nice. I don't know why it started out so slow. Yeah, I'm at bright green. And this is still chewing. Still chewing. So should have saved this before I went in. But that's pretty cool. The other way that I can that I could possibly opt. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna save this real quick. Aha. So there we go. So there is our wing, fully feathered wing. Crazy, 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 crazy. We get really close. Look at that. Look at that detail. Like I said, probably not going to be able to use this amount of detail. So for these guys, I might want to actually drop the number of spines that are on there because I'm making them so much smaller. So maybe instead of using that transform, I actually like kind of like shrink the top spine and build that out as it is. But that's pretty cool that I can visualize this overall, and that's pretty dope. Okay, I got about 20 minutes left. So where do I go from here? What do I want to do? So I don't want to. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to use all this geometry because if I look at this, this is probably like up to millions of polygons. Let's look at how many this is. Yeah, this is 52 million polygons. Like that's insane. Like there's and the fact that Houdini can just handle this, can just do this and just display it is pretty amazing. But we don't want to use 52 million polygons. So what I'm gonna do is So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to start to make my my proxy geometry, and I'm gonna start with that same grid that I had. And I think what I'll do to make this a little bit. No, do I want to make this super dynamic? Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make this dynamic. This is my problem. I always try to make stuff too procedural and I end up screwing myself over. But, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I have this feather coming in. Like this is my actually, you know what? Instead of that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this guy up. So, no. Allow editing of contents, and I want actually 2 outputs for this. I wonder if I can do 2 outputs for this. So one of these outputs, this output is going to be my geometry. And I'm going to have another output over here that's just my curves. So just that curve and just those curves. Okay. So that's going to be this is going to be out feather geom. I'll say poly. And this one is out feather curves. And I believe I can put 2 output nodes here, and I'll get one that spits out this way and one that spits out that way. So we'll see. Let's see if this can do this. Output index. It's going to be 0. And this is going to be output. And this is going to be... So I can't have 2 0 index, so I'm going to say output index 1. And I think I have to modify my parameter properties. So modify, where is it? Type properties. Over here, on my basic number of outputs, I'm going to say 2. Output 1, output 2. So if I come into here, let's say feather curve and feather poly. Might be a way to color. I think if I color these as well. So my curve, I'm going to make blue. The poly, I'm going to make red. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. So those get colored as well. So now I can spit out just my curves, or my curves and my polygons. So if I want to do 1 to 1 or 1 to the other, I can do that as well. So what else do I want to do to this to wrap up? I think I want to group some stuff together. So let's see what groups we have coming into here. So we have bottom feather, top feather. I don't really need that coming in. So now I'm just cleaning up this HDA so that'll be easier to use later. So let's say these are going in here. I think I want to delete those groups. This is bottom feather, top feather, bottom, top feather, top feather. So I really don't need that stuff. So let's see. Graph real quick here. So I think after these merges is where I'm gonna nuke. I'm gonna kill those bottom feathers, top feathers. So group delete. Group names. I'm gonna say bottom feather and top feather. So get rid of those point groups. Okay, cool. So now I know I'm getting rid of those, but now I want to make like my overall groups. So let's do group. Let's make this spine. This is going to be left feather. Left feather. And this will be right feather. And that should transfer over to left feather, right feather, and why am I not getting my spine group? Ah, because this, let's go there. It's fine. Cool. So left feather, right feather, spine. Let's see. What else do I want to do to this? I don't think I need that PT disc anymore. I'm not doing anything with that. So where do I turn that on? Just trying to minimize the amount of stuff that comes out of here. So I have this curve U. So I really don't need that curve U either. It's getting a little muddied. So let's remove that as well. So just kind of like cleaning up as much as I can. So yeah, so let's remove any curve U's here. So let's do attribute delete. And point attributes, curve U. So getting rid of that curve U as well. Okay, so the other thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to rename. So here in my group, I have this curve U. So I want to eventually use this in coloration. So I'm going to just rename that to something useful. So here, this is my spine curve U. This is my spine here. So I'm going to say attribute rename. In so from let's see points from curve U, or no, I don't want to rename this because that'll break the stuff downstream. I want to copy. Sorry, should we copy? Source group, destination group, attribute name, new name, curve U, yeah, there we go. So I'm basically just copying curve U into a new attribute. So I'm going to call this spine U. So when that curve U here, that muddy curve U gets taken out, I should still have spine U here. So I have my spine group and my spine U. So I can split that up and I can do whatever I need to do to get to that. So I'm going to do this to the rest of these guys. So I'm going to copy this. Let's see. So this guy has a curve U. So here, here. So it's gonna be curve U. I'm gonna call this quill, L quill. Yeah, L quill U. Okay. This guy here still has this curve U. Yeah, I'll call this this will be L curve U. I'll just call this left U. And we'll copy both of those and do the same thing to the right. So, just Alt, grab that. Chop all this stuff off. Whap. I think I saw like a really interesting shortcut. Was it J? Yeah, J. I can draw. That's pretty cool. I can draw my connections. That's pretty dope. Don't know how useful it is. So this is going to take curve U. This is going to be right quill U. This is going to be right U. So I'm basically giving the user as many attributes as they can to, and the user is me. It's going to give them as many attributes as I can as they can to color all this stuff. Okay. Do I want to make a proxy? Yeah, maybe. Well, I got about 5 minutes left. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a proxy. Might not use it. Good to have it. So you have the 3 levels. You'll have your full-on geometry, your curves, and then I'll just do a bounding box on this. So bound. So now this is making a bounding box. I wonder if I can do a plane. Oh, rectangle. Sweet. Nope. Nope. Box. Sphere. Rectangle. It's got 4 points. Direction. Let's see, what are points? Points, points, points. Yeah, there we go. So I just have, I'm just basically just making this bound. I'll give it a little bit of padding. Not that much padding. Cool. And that would be my proxy. So here, let's do this. Just keep this nominal. Call this out feather proxy. So actually, I'll do red, yellow, and green for weight. So this is the heaviest. This is the second heaviest. This is the least heaviest. So let's red. So this will be 0. This will be 1. This will be 2. So now if I go back up, do type properties, and we'll do 3, apply. So now I have, great. So now I have this guy, I have this guy. So I have my L quill U, right U, R quill U, R spine, left feather, right feather, and spine. So I can split this thing up to my heart's content. So let's go ahead and let's plug in our proxy to all these. And this is the beautiful thing. So now I have this proxy, and I can go up. If I go back to my wing, once again, I keep forgetting to save. So while this is chugging, it's about 9 o'clock. It's the end of the day. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Those of you who are still watching. It looks like my bit rate is a little bit better. It's not as good as it should be. Once again, I will continue my ongoing battle with my ISP. But here we go. So I'm back to my all the way back to my proxy, but I know this proxy now lines up exactly with these feathers that I made. So I have these 3 choices I can do. I can use my proxy geometry, I can use just my curves, and I can use or I can use just my what's what I'm looking for. I can use my proxy curves, or I can use the full model. So it's coming along. It's coming along. I like, this was really fun for me today. It was a little nerve-wracking with the whole network stuff, but it's coming along. So we have this system that we can build so many things with, right? So we started with proxy stuff. We made full-fledged feathers. We made curve-based feathers, and we made proxy-based feathers, and we can make as many different types, many different types of feathers with this one HDA here. So I'm going to say save node type and match current definition, and I'm going to save this, and that will be it for the day. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I promise I will go and burn down my, well, I won't burn down my ISP. I will Karen it up at my at my ISP provider until they, make sure that that my internet is stable, because I'm here for you guys. Thanks for coming. Wash your hands, get rest, be kind to yourself, and I will see you next week. Peace.